Election, Washington County voters will choose to affirm or reject a levy to help provide services for people with developmental disabilities. Our Chase Campbell has more.
In May, Washington County voters will decide whether to support a levy to fund the County Board of Developmental Disabilities. According to the board, the passage of that levy is essential to them continuing to offer services that can be life-changing for children 3 and younger. According to the ballot language, the levy is for 0.95 mils for each dollar of taxable property value, which amounts to taxpayers pitching in about $33.25 per $100,000 of property value. Developmental Disabilities Board Superintendent Tiffany Neal says that if the levy passes, it will allow the board to continue paying its mandated local Medicaid match for individuals receiving home and community-based services. It will also allow the board to continue providing its early intervention services, which supports children from birth to 3 who have developmental delays or disabilities.
Early intervention services support those from the age of birth to 3. It allows services to be provided within the family home setting, and it brings therapy to the home to support the families in working with their child to meet their developmental milestones.
According to the board's latest annual report, over 200 infants and toddlers benefited from early intervention in 2025. Neal says those early intervention services can be transformative.
Every dollar that you spend in early intervention, you save $17 in the future, essentially allowing us to get in there and work with those kiddos at such a young age. It allows us to, hopefully change that child's developmental trajectory and hopefully no longer need us in the future.
At 0.95 mils, the levy on the May ballot is substantially less than the 3.6 mil levy voters rejected in the 2025 general election.
We understand that they're being hit in different directions with other levies and just the cost of, groceries, those types of things. So we are hoping the lesser amount will be more appealing to the taxpayers.
Neal says that if voters reject the levy in May, the board may try to get it on the ballot again in the November general election if the county commissioners permit it. If it fails then, Neal says the board will have to consider discontinuing its early intervention services in 2027. In Marietta, Chase Campbell, WTAP News.